Hello.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back to the Laurent Collective Podcast on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify, on all the things.
All the things.
If you're listening from one of those or watching. And yeah, we are back today with a business topic that you guys have asked before. And so we thought we would dive into it a little bit further because we get questions on it. And yeah, sometimes we pick the topic. Sorry if you're watching on YouTube, suddenly there's a bug in my face. If you are running a business, this is a question a lot of people ask because we are thrown information about it constantly. And that is the idea of passive income. Mm-hmm. And so I know for me personally, just because sometimes I will Google things about business or I follow different business people and stuff like that, that then I get adverts on Instagram and Facebook and they drive me crazy. That is all about like, I made $4 million this year on passive income and that kind of thing. And you can do it too, or whatever it may be. And I'm not kidding. That's what a lot of them say. And that kind of stuff. And so a lot of you may see those and be like, what are they talking about? That might be one of your questions. Or you've clicked on that stuff, or you've taken a course and it's not worked for you, and all that stuff. And so we thought we would just talk about that. It is an income stream for our business, and so we have some experience and thoughts on it.
Yeah.
If you are curious about passive income and other income streams, way back when we first started this podcast,
I
think it's like episode 11. We talk about, I know it's episode 11, and we talk about how to determine your income streams. So I would recommend going back and listening to that one because passive income may or may not be for your company, depending what kind of stuff you do.
Yeah, sure.
And so that we're going to explain it from our company's perspective, and I'll try and bring some ideas from some people we've mentored in their businesses. But that I would recommend listening to as well. Mm-hmm. So passive income, the definition of passive income is I think that at first we need to take away the idea that people think it means you have no work. That's not true.
Yeah, that's
so
that's so true.
I don't like the word passive because that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
It's a lot of upfront work. It's a lot of getting it off the ground, and then there is maintenance. So it's not a one and done that kind of thing. But the idea is, my definition and what most people would define, I guess, passive income is something that you can be making money while you sleep. That's the idea.
Yeah.
General. That is the most general definition
of what of
it. So you will see that phrase a lot. Make money while you sleep. I make this many millions when I sleep, or those kinds of things. Yeah. And like, people consider that passive income. Now, I don't like that definition because that can portray a lot of things. You can make money while you sleep and sell, like if you're somebody who prints artwork at home, you can print somebody can order it overnight and you technically make money while you sleep, but you're going to have to do the work the next day.
Sure.
So I don't love that definition.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So we thought we would use examples of what it looks like in our business, and that kind of thing. And so one example would be, for a long time, we sold cards, like greeting cards. We sold them on our website. So someone would order greeting cards, we would print them at our house, and we would then ship them out to other people.
Yep.
And so that's not passive income. That's like you're constantly, if someone orders, you're working on it and that kind of stuff, and you're producing the artwork, and it's a... there's probably a technical business term for it, but I'm losing my thought process on what it's called.
There's an aspect that there's still a process that happens once the payment is made, in a sense, right? Like, we had to, you open up your email, okay, cool, we got a sale, so then now you gotta, for us, it was, you have to print it, then you have to package it, then you have to figure out all the postage, and then take it to the post.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a process to it, in a sense.
Whereas an example of passive income may be selling a digital product. So if you sell, an example is now we sell some cards on our stuff, and we will be selling more soon, that people can go on and they can buy it digitally, and they print it at home or print it however they're choosing to print it. And what that means, the way that, at least for us and the websites we sell on, it means if they go on to our website and they download a greeting card, it all happens right there. So they get an email with the download attachment in it. We've got it all set up. Hopefully it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But the majority of the time, and it's all that happens, and there was no involvement from us in the after part of the sale being made. Did we have to take time to set it up and figure out how to set it up
and create it
and all that stuff. Yes. Do we have to do the SEO on it? Yes. It doesn't mean all of the stuff leading up. There is no way that you can ever sell something that does not have work up front. I don't understand why some people even say that.
I guess if it's product based, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if it's product based, but like if you're putting material out there for people to take a course from you or something, all of that takes work up front. And so I just want to demyth some of the things I have seen out there that are like, it's no work up front. Like it's that's not, I don't know what they're talking about. So we have been in business almost 16 years now, and everything has work up front. Yeah. So that would be a very tangible example. A card that you print and you send out, or maybe you had it printed previously, like you printed in bulk or something. But when the sale comes in, you have physical stuff you have to do and send it, versus someone ordering a digital thing online and then it's done like that. Now, is customer service and stuff like that, that part is still, no matter what kind of income you have, you're going to be dealing with that kind of stuff and all of that. So that's never done. So is that how you would define passive income? Like, is there another example that you can think of? Like licensing or something maybe?
Yeah, licensing, or like, I just think the idea that, or I mean, in some ways too, the idea that the creation of it's all done, everything, but you're not actively fulfilling the
order or the
purchase
sale or whatever
side of things, if that makes any sense. And so that's kind of how I see it, where again, like the cards, the digital downloads, or the fact that we are starting to use, at least for our cards and stuff, we use a lot of our stuff, we use a site now where it's all printed on demand, and so there's not much.
Somebody else does it from a different
somebody else
place.
does it and takes care of it. And so for us, there's a little bit of a, okay, well, that's all taken care of. And yes, there's like customer service things and stuff like that we deal with. But for the most part, once the upfront stuff is done, it's kind of out of our hands. And so I kind of see that as a little bit of like more that passive side of it. And that's how it rolls. Again, we have licensing deals with different card companies and things like that, which again I see as passive, because we're just creating the product, we're handing it off to different companies, and then they kind of run with it,
and then we get royalties once a month, or whatever their payment plan is.
We get payment from that depending on the sales and things like that. And so again, that's
if you're a course creator, something like that could be, maybe it could be your full course, it could be a mini course or something like that, that it's up there all the time. So this is not like a launch course thing that you launch it 3 times a year or something like that. That's not really passive, because you're having a lot of work in that. But maybe you have something that you have it set up that people sign up for a webinar or something like that, and it's they use the phrase evergreen a lot for those kinds of things, that it's constantly running. People can go on there and that kind of stuff. I do not agree that it's passive if you are going on and doing, for our course for a while, and we've changed it a little bit. We were doing like weekly phone calls with the people that took it and stuff like that. That's still having you very actively involved in that. So I don't consider that completely passive income, and that kind of thing, because again, once we hand off, like the licensing with the cards is such a great example. Once we hand off the artwork to the different card companies, at least for the majority of them, our hands are then like, okay, we'll see how the cards sell this month and like what we get at the end of the month. Now, do we want to keep track of how the cards are selling because we want to see what are the most popular designs, what the topics are, the phrases, that kind of stuff? 100%. You still have to keep track of that stuff. But that is the idea, is what passive income and that kind of stuff looks like, what it means. And so I think that all is great. To understand what it is one thing. What it means for your business, again, we talked about it a little bit, but it's been a long time ago. Like I said, it was in episode 11 of like your income streams. What it means is, like most businesses, it's good. I said most, this is not true for everybody. It is good to have a variety of income streams. That helps in times like we're in right now with inflation and stuff like that. I know almost every product business we are talking to that is a small business is talking about how their numbers are down and that kind of stuff. it helps in different things. Our card sales have gone up since COVID and all that stuff has happened. And I say our card sales that are with our licensed card companies and that kind of thing, they soared right when COVID hit. And then they've gradually tapered off, but not off completely. They're still, doing really well, and that kind of thing. And so having a mix of some income streams is great. When you're first starting off, focusing on one is totally fine. And I would recommend that because you got to figure out something before you move on to something else. But I think what the passive income part does is there is something, if you can get it kind of going, again, that takes work to do that. If you can kind of get it going and come back to it and just check on things every once in a while, it's not a guarantee, but it is something that is there that that is getting stuff in.
Hopefully it's generating revenue.
Right? So I don't have to think about those card companies that are selling our cards. They're doing all of that stuff. Yes, we have interactions with those card companies. They tell us the kind of cards they would like coming up in the next season. Like there is all of that stuff, of course. And again, there's the active work up front. But then like we have one card I think you made 4 years ago that it's one of the best sellers on 3 of the card companies we have cards licensed on. We've not touched it since then. And it will sell, cards every month. And we're not physically sending the cards out or anything like that. So that is
I think the biggest thing, at least for us, in trying to allocate more of this kind of thing in our business is just getting that time. Like time is such a huge thing for us. And so if we can create revenue streams, especially in the passive income stream, it allows us more time to other things, doing the podcast, doing some of the books that I've been doing and all that kind of stuff that allows us that time that if we were actively still printing cards, if we were actively all these things that would take up a certain amount of time that would keep us from some of these other things. And so I think again, if you're looking for places in your business to open up some time for other things that you want to kind of step into, looking more into the passive side of things is definitely a good place to look and to step into.
It comes back a lot to when you own your own business and when you're running a small business, we say this all the time, so I'm not, we sound like a broken record, but what's your purpose in business? And what is your time devoted to then when it comes to that? And so for us, things like this, like the podcast, or us being able to have time to do some mentoring and coaching in business and stuff like that is super important for us. For you, it's super important for you to be able to create still. And so that kind of thing. And so if you realize your business isn't doing some of those things that are the reason behind your purpose in your business, that's when you want to look at some other income streams that maybe, what are some things that it's not a guarantee, like I said, but what are some other things that I can do that then will be a source of income that is something that I can, hope that will bring in stuff. And maybe I have to relook at it and pay attention to it every once in a while. But in general, once it's done, I don't have to do too much more work on it. I think is good. Some people from the beginning want to set their businesses up like that. And I think that's great. If that's what you want to do, amazing. You're still going to have a lot of work to get up front. None of all these card companies reached out to us because they saw the cards we were putting out there and mailing to people and that kind of thing. Or they had, seen our work and that kind of stuff. That is the only way that a couple of card companies, now there was one that we submitted stuff to, but again, we had to have stuff to submit. And then they said yes. And so I think that's super important of knowing that of knowing that there is still work up front, but you could possibly think from the beginning and set up your business in that way if that's something you desire.
Definitely.
And if you're curious, I'm not trying to be salesy, but if you're not sure about the whole, I don't know what you mean by purpose in business, go and learn collectivelearning.com and you can take a course from us if you want to. You don't have to take one of our courses, but we talk about a lot in podcasts and stuff like that too. So you could check that out as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. What else do you think is important for you as a creator when you're creating? My hair is falling out of my. Anyways, when you are creating stuff for passive income, does it change the way you create or anything? or is it the same?
It doesn't necessarily change the way I create. I think you do have to think of your audience in a different way, I think. Because a lot of times as a creator, you might be creating things in response to things that are going on or happening, or, very active things. I feel like passive income, at least the stuff that we've been doing, has been a little bit more general products that are always good.
Birthday cards.
There's
that always birthdays.
That are generally all year round and things like that. So it's a little less focused. It's a little bit more vague, and at least the products and the creative that we're doing. But I also think too. I think it creating for passive streams of income. You definitely. I think it just allows you the space. Again, like I said, to be a little bit, even sometimes to be a little bit more creative than typically, because it's a little bit more open. Again, like birthday cards or things like that are kind of all across the board, like what you can do for those different industries and different things. Just to kind of allows you a new freedom and a new opportunity.
It's a place to test things out sometimes too.
I think that's another really good thing creatively.
In generally, again, every place that you will do things with will be different, but in general, most of the car companies are like, yeah, let's try that design and we can see how it goes and that kind of thing. And so again, something I will say with like passive income and any kind of like licensing agreement or anything like that, like you want to make sure you understand your contract and like what your rights are and when you can use your artwork for other things as well. And that kind of stuff. So it's super important not to just like sign off everything. Be like, yep, that's what I'm doing. Like really read through it. If you're not sure and you have questions, have somebody that has some legal understanding wherever you are to read through that and understand that. Understand when you're getting paid. Make sure they're paying you. If someone is not paying you, they immediately have to revoke their rights if they're not doing that to the using your product and stuff. And so, and then also keep in mind. I guess this is probably maybe another topic is licensing and stuff, but also keep in mind, of course, when anyone approaches you, they're going to sell you whatever the highest person an artist might be making on that website or something like that. And so it's really hard for us as business owners, and we've had this happen that I'm like, oh my gosh, they're doing that. Like,
we need to jump on that too.
We need to do that too. Or like something like someplace that would license our artwork and stuff will contact us and say, we have this artist that's making this much per month and they do this and we'd love to have you on board so you can do that too. And like, that's great, but like that's not always going to be the case for everybody and that kind of stuff. And so just keep that in mind when you're jumping into something. Don't expect an immediate overnight success on something, right?
That's true.
I think that goes for any income stream that you're doing in any. Yes, that does rarely happen to people. Sometimes it happens, but the majority of time, it's over time that things take time to bring more of an income and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think along the lines with that as well, like the different partners that at least that we're starting to learn to work with through this passive side of our income. Really making sure that your brand matches with their brand, I think is a big thing too, and the way that you do things in your designs and your creative, is that going to match the things that they're doing? Because if it doesn't, your work and all the things that you're doing from the front end and then passing it off to them, could create a place of like, well, why is my stuff not selling like this over here? Your creative, your look, your feel, your whole brand might just not appeal to their
we have that with one of the companies we work with. Their stuff is more, it's funny, it's hilarious. Like it's more, I don't know what the right word is.
Cheeky?
I
don't know.
Cheeky. Sometimes a little
playful,
bit more playful. Sometimes it's on the rude side. Again, it's stuff we actually find hilarious. Like I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that, but we don't always design stuff that's always that way. And so our cards don't sell always the best on that website. Like So sometimes, though, they will, because we're some of the minority on the website that is selling something that's a little bit more heartfelt or something like that. So every once in a while, we'll have a card blow up one month for like Father's Day or something. And we've somehow, and it is sometimes a game a little bit. We've somehow, like the one card that blew up for Father's Day on this website, we were like, it's so simple. There wasn't even a single illustration on it. It was just hand lettering. It was super simple. And I think it sold 300 cards or more in 1 month. And we were like, what? So again, it's a place where you can test things out and that kind of thing. So I think what we want to say about passive income is it's almost a warning label, and I'm sorry that it sounds like that, but it's almost a warning label to you if you are like, yes, I want this. It's a warning label to be careful before you click on those ads. Click on them if you want more information, but be careful. We have fallen into this. Be careful before you click on those. You read their information, you read their sales page, and you pay some exorbitant amount of price or something like that for something because they're making all these promises to you. Like, that's their story, and they're going to have other people up there and things like that. But like, do your research on that person. Do your research on that person. Ask other people if they've taken their course. That's like the trust. I mean, that's how most people end up taking our course, is they have asked other people if they've taken it, if they ended up having a purpose at the end for their business or not, because that's the goal of our course, how it affected their business, that kind of stuff. And so ask other people before you jump on something. There's a lot of that kind of marketing out there. And I know there was one person I was like, this sounds really good. And when I researched them, they had been in business for less than 6 months. Doesn't mean I don't think they can teach on their topic, because it looked like they had a lot of success. It was for an Etsy shop in particular. Looks like they had lots of success. However, I thought, yeah, but you've only tested this for 6 months. I don't know. Like, and again, I'm not saying it wouldn't work. They might work, and they might have something great to offer, but those can be important things to see if their brand aligns with your brand and what you think and that kind of stuff. So that is one kind of a bit of a warning label when you see that whole, like, make money while you sleep. Like, well, I think can you make money while you sleep? Yes. Like, we're telling you the ways that we do that. I don't touch the card company stuff. I do 1 day a month that I go through and check what cards are selling the best. Think about what we need to do. Like, ooh, that's selling really well. Maybe if we repurposed that and made it also a card for mom, not just dad, maybe that would do well as well, and stuff like that. But again, that's coming up with new stuff. So it's paying attention to it. But like, the rest of the month, we don't touch it. And it sits there and does, whatever it's doing. So there are things like that. Yes, there are evergreen courses and stuff like that you can do. But no matter what you do in your business, there is going to be a part of work in it. That's part of having a business. It's not can you hire people to do some of that work? Yes, but then you're also going to have to manage those people and what they're doing and stuff like that. And so I do believe in passive income. We are doing things and we think it's important in our business. It may not work for your business, but again, it's how do you want to spend your time? How do you want to have that be something in your business? What are the things that are super important to you? Like I said, it's super important for Pat to make sure that he's creating on a constant basis, because it's one of the reasons we got into business. And that kind of stuff. And so how are things that you can align those things to make it work, and to make, if passive income is supposed to be, and you want it to be a stream for your income stream for you, then you can test it out and everything. Have we covered everything? I feel like we're being negative on it. I don't mean to be that negative.
No, I don't think it's negative.
I think it's just trying to be truthful with you guys on it, of like, it's not, again, an overnight thing. Again, there's one person, and it does happen. There's one person I know that's on one of the card companies that she made a card that just happened to be very timely, and she sold like 6,000 of them in 1 month. That does happen. So I'm not saying, but you can't bank on that. Those are the rarity, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, I don't think we're trying to be negative with it. I think it's just more of like the idea that the word passive doesn't mean you're not doing anything.
Yeah. It can mean a lot less work. I guess that's the way, that is how, if I were to define the make money while you're sleeping thing, I would rechange the word passive income to, it is income you can have for your business with a lot less work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and so that is the way that I would say instead of make money while you're sleeping and stuff like that. And we may have even used that phrase before. Sorry guys if we did. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, ooh, in that income stream one, I may have actually used that phrase. Yeah. But I think it's because, culturally I've just picked it up. But I would say it is income that will still take work. It will take upfront work. It will probably take a lot of upfront work, to be honest.
It's not guaranteed either.
And it's not a guarantee for income. Again, this is why you just have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to what's going on in the world. You have to pay attention to what's going on in your genre of a business and stuff like that. And then you have to pay attention. Some people that we've talked to, they don't want to license their cards to people. They want to send, they love the idea of packaging and sending stuff to to people when they order and that kind of stuff. And that's fine. Yeah. So we're not saying you have to do it this way. We're just saying what works for us and stuff like that. So hopefully this hasn't been too confusing. And it has shed some light on that, but we just wanted to, I don't know. When you keep seeing something over and over and you're like, I feel like we should address that a little bit, because I know a lot of that we do passive income streams and stuff like that in our business, and it has been helpful for our business.
It has. It's been really helpful.
And so just wanted to bring that to your attention to talk about it a little bit more. Do let us know if you have more questions on this topic. I have a feeling I might get some questions on how we work with card companies, and maybe we'll do something on that if you're interested. If not, don't worry about it. Or like, what other business questions do you have? We'd love to help you out. We are not experts in every topic. We've just had a lot of experience.
And tried lots of things.
And we have tried a lot of things too. Some have been great. Some have not gone so great. So we are here to help you guys on that stuff as well. And we just want to say thank you for listening and watching. And again, as always, you help us and support our little family business that we have by listening to this and watching this, by subscribing and liking and sharing it with your friends. And you can check out all the podcast episodes, including that one that is episode 11 under the business category on Lorent Collective Learning. That's all for today, I think. Yeah?
That's it.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and take care.
Bye.